Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us this afternoon, this morning, welcome to SKTV. We got our man here, Johnson Milburn Cllr from Liberia, doing a check-in there with us. He's also connecting us here, relaying this program in Liberia through FM 98.1. Melbourne, my man, you were playing some music there. I was shaking, but why you tell the music off the key? Yeah, my man, you just turn the music off. What is going on?
Sorry, but you know the music is about telling God, thank you plenty, thank you plenty. Today is Sunday, so we'll be hearing a lot of preaching coming from various, from various pastors. You know, every Sunday.
Anyway, we're getting other news, but Prince Johnson getting Huawei today. But we're getting other news for that one.
Yeah, seriously.
I guess you know, some folk went to church today, Prince Johnson get all Huawei. But let's welcome our people. Want to welcome you to this edition. SKTV, welcome to the program here. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us share the show. Welcome to this edition. As you can see, we have Melbourne studio. We are all set and ready to go here this afternoon with Cllr. Jerome Verdier should be joining us momentarily. We have lots of issues to discuss, national, international issues. We got, like we can say, like, bro, we get plenty to talk. Yeah. This ain't that way. We get plenty of things to talk. Welcome to today's edition. Welcome to SKTV. We have Melbourne. As always, we want to welcome all of you, those of you watching us from the diaspora, Europe, Asia, America, Canada, Australia, Asia. We want to say welcome to you. Those of you watching us from parts of Africa, Ghana, wherever else you want to turn the ass, welcome to this edition. Welcome to the show today. As always, we want to welcome the Liberian people. Those of you listening to us via the radio, we say welcome. Those of you following us via Facebook here, we say welcome to this edition. Welcome to the show. My man Milburn will be greeting us from Liberia very soon. But as always, the Liberian people are the most important people on earth, but most importantly, the Liberian women are the most beautiful women. We will be bringing you other news very, very soon. But let's hear from Melbourne in Liberia. Melbourne, they say you where you were around where tomorrow. What's going on?
Yes, so most definitely. Today is Sunday, and I don't know what maybe because today is Sunday, so the sun is shining and so on. And today is Sunday, is the 12th day in the month of February. I don't know why. Or how come this month is running with speed? So I don't know. What maybe the secret I know about?
Yeah, my man. They to be honest, just to speak in light of that, you would also recall that what this month January also ran with some kind of huge speed. Yeah, and then February now, you know, so I don't know, maybe the year wants to bring the election as fast as possible.
That's where I was coming, so that all the preaching on Sunday, you know, forgetting about the Bible and talking about it, so everything can come to an end one and for all. So maybe the month
exactly so.
Yeah, so Liberia is peaceful. Liberia is going good. We are fine here as people, and like you said, they are Liberian women. They can't wait for Valentine's Day, so at least. But at least we
don't bring up Valentine's Day close. Don't bring noise in the time. Yeah. I'm not in Valentine's Day noise a discussion with you. That other Friday, right?
No, but you can't be pressing, then you leave me out. Then then I'm incomplete. So when you are pressing, you gotta be in. Yeah. So we are doing good here in Liberia. Just that we're still waiting for the message that will be coming from the two pastors. You know, now the churches now, or the two churches are should I say, are more visit of church that people are attending now and then, because for example, or church, you know, people want to go there because of one or two reasons. And to St. Prince Johnson Church to also other people want to go there for one or two reasons. So now and then, if you go there, if you don't go soon, most definitely you will not get seats. So the high and low now, you know, viewer churches, especially the two pastors who are making sure that either they forget about something and bring about other things. But Liberia is kind, my brother, and we are good. We thank God for today.
Well, I think we heard from the Senator, Senator Prince Johnson. Uh, I don't know if we should call him the senior man of God. We heard from him. Yeah. While hearing from the senator, the senior senator
Mm,
of Uma County, we also had the opportunity. We have not heard from our men, on the other end, from the Bagugwe Avenue,
mhm.
for check. We get official report coming from inside there, yeah. But what we want to show, maybe, official report will be coming from there. But in other news, while we were waiting,
Mhm.
to hear from Prince Johnson,
Mm,
it would amaze you that to find out that we had a good amount of people that is reported turned out to the service today,
mhm.
only to get what Prince Johnson wanted to say. Sometimes I don't blame the Liberian people because uh, some of them are driven by drama, you know, uh, not substantive issues that would benefit them. If you start to talk about something critical that would educate and inform them, they would go away from that, as opposed to other nationalities,
Mm,
other people from different countries that would gravitate towards those kind of things because it has a long-term benefit and impact. But I've seen in most recent times in our Liberian communities, most of
mhm.
us we
Mm,
gravitate towards negativity. Imagine somebody will be causing people mind. People tune in to listen.
mhm.
Women causing they're causing women, and women tune in there to listen. Not only to listen, but they financially support.
Mm,
They intend enable those things. But then they come out on the contrary and say, women's right and women should be protected, and women this, women that. They want to talk culture, they want to say this, they want to say that, but they're enabling, creating an environment for their own honor, money, and disgrace. So it's very conflicting and confusing. But those of you joining us, welcome to today's edition. We expect Sickle to be joining us very soon. Councillor Jerome Verdier would be joining us here. We have lots of things to talk about. Many of you know Councillor Jerome Verdier, have heard of Councillor Jerome Verdier. If you don't, he's former chairman of the TRC, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Most of you will know him famously by the War Chronicle. So, I was speaking to one of my Oma. I said, Councillor Jerome Verdier. She said, what kind of people you speaking to? I said, no, the War Chronicle man. She said, oh, that man.
oh.
Oh, that man. I said, yeah, that is man. But but welcome to today's edition. Like I said earlier, a lot of things to talk about. We want to quickly, before we get to the musical break and share the show, we want to turn in quickly to other news really quick because there are some things unfolding. We want to let me get to, because yesterday we were on the site. We try to do the necessary research as much as possible for and with to follow with the Unity Party. Yes, the Unity Party, the fundraiser that was held. We've asked question. I think the Unity Party has sent out some very confusing signals. The most recent spokesman, Joseph Boaga Handler, Henry Costa, in the face of the party, Henry Costa announced yesterday that they collected 22,000 United States dollars, which we are still going to try to corroborate those figures because Henry Costa is known for lying continuously and consistently with brave face, without shame. He lies a lot. He's one of the notorious liars. So when he says something, we don't take it for a grain of salt. We got to double check it. Yes, he is a liar, and you're aware that he is a liar, but you've chosen to support a liar. So that's okay. That is your choice. But it doesn't mean we're not doing our due diligence. We have to do what is right. We got to do our due diligence. But we'll also follow up on the status of the Unity Party, the foundation. We follow up on the foundation, the status of the foundation. We found out that the foundation's status, let me get to the documents here because, we went into depth, went to Rhode Island, the state website, went to the business session where they keep all of those information to make sure everything is up to date because we're not going to take any kind of babati in La Brogue. We realized that the information we got from there, the business, first of all, the business was they did a revocation notice. So this is not the first time for them to revoke the business or issue them revocation notice for the same thing. Let's get that clear, and we'll get to other news here. But let's clarify that for the public here really quick. A revocation notice was issued November 6, 2009. And the reason for the revocation notice was failure to file an annual report. So in other words, they get a business. If the business is filing, there are two people name on the business, and we'll call their names, those in charge of the business. So 2009, they updated it, they did an addendum, they amended it, the article of incorporation, they did file. 2021, they filed a revocation notice, and they did, again, 2021, 2 years after, another revocation notice was issued for this same Joseph Human Boaga Foundation. And this time around, they issued them this notice, and they turned around revocation certificate for failure to file annual report for the year. So by that time, they got rid of it. But in America, you can reinstate. So the United Party reinstated 2021. The whole foundation was Vlad. They cut them off. They were not there again. Took them away. 2021, 2022, April 12th, exactly at 10:45 a.m., they reinstated them after they finally filed the notice, or they finally filed the annual report. So it's seen here twice that the foundation did not file the annual report twice. And that, it can be caused by for different reasons and so forth. But the people in charge of the foundation, the address and everything, this is America, everything is public, just so you know. So we're able to gather the names of the people, the address, those in charge and so forth, and lots of details on the foundation. And we are set to follow the foundation going forward. And the 22,000, the reason we're pointing out the 22,000 is public service announcement, because we are stakeholders and we are concerned citizens. The 22,000, your my father report. We now want your tell 22, your spokesman say 22,000. None of y'all came on a post or anywhere to say that not 22,000 at 15 or at 10. When the time comes for you to file, you're gonna file different value, because if you file different value, then you got to reconcile. We'll call the IRS and let them know that you're lying to the public, so that 22,000 we know, because your spokesman said that 22,000 you're collected. So if you're in collect 22,000, you need to reconcile it, then you need to settle it and pay the difference among yourself, our money. Because our foundation, we're not going to have the foundation closed for the third time again. No, we're not going to do that. We've had it closed for 2 times. 2 is enough. The third strike, and I'm not putting there. So we're begging you. Spokesman, the newest spokesman on the block, we're begging you, Chief. You're putting it up, 22 grand. You're me our report. We now want hear no noise. You're me our report. 22,000 that we collected. It's on record, man. And the good thing about it, the spokesman is the same man that was passing around with a big top. That where our 22,000 was kept. If any attempt that 22,000, any attempt to mess with that 22,000, the other yo-yo will not be easy. But let's move fast forward into other news here, because there are a lot of things happening. A lot of things going on around the country and so forth. Today, people were disappointed from our senior senator, Prince Johnson, who seemingly posted yesterday, and some people thought he would have fired back or taken a shot at President George. We are considering President George. We are went to the church and took a shot at him. But apparently, you see your way. You see, so United Party putting us saying a little over. Thank you for the correction there. He said a little over. That little over, we not know what it is, so we'll leave that be English with him, the little over. We're not holding the little over constant, because remember, little over could be anything, right?
Exactly. Because when you say little over,
that little over, you're discussing. We just know say our money that we collected for our foundation.
That 22,000.
22. We not want to be over small over. We're not interested. BB
So
English.
that 22,000 we want the exact report.
Exactly.
That all we probably want. What are a little over, a little honor?
Thank you.
Yeah, man,
The little over you can share among yourself. We're not
you shouldn't put any kind of a phrase in
yeah,
it.
man, you're
Man.
bring lost in
Yeah,
the tear. They have what money when I call it again. You're coming, man, not your foundation. Little over for what in that?
Little over. That money. That money. That money.
When they say little over, bro, what it mean? Little over, what it mean?
I think, from my understanding, maybe they are saying that the money is not really sufficient. Not really, maybe it's not or that type of money maybe that they're expecting. But anyway, how be it? That's the one you get. So we're not going to be using it, because we're in the media. Even when 4 or 5% down, someone can say at least, right? So sometimes people want us as to why we're using that word at least. So that's the kind of way. So please, you remove that phrase. Don't say as far as we are concerned, they put raise that money already. Be it 22,000, be it 100,000. Thank you. So all we want now is we want check and balance on that money. How that money will be used for the if for campaign, or what that money for. You gotta let us know. That's all we want. So if
you got all confused with a little or no little. What are the little or? Brother, leave a little or conversation. Don't bring us in the time. We know that 22. In that 22, we going for.
Yes.
Our money, what we know on record per our spokesman, right? The biggest chairman, the biggest spokesman, the face of the United Party spoke, and nobody there debunking. Even the chairman, the Reverend, the men of God, never debunking. So that means we know we are clear. That our 22. So the letter or whatever it is, he can give it to whether he can give it to the chairman, he can give it to the party, he can give it to John BW. I thought I want it up to them. When I get problem with it. 22. We talking like we joking.
22.
But you're not one of the other nurse because they're not a brothers. That 22 must be though that money must be reported. It must be reported.
But you can't be holding other people accountable for things, and you yourself is saying maybe you.
The thing I know, we have access to all these things, and in America, you can report it and say you can go there and check.
Yeah,
we're waiting for the time for them to alert, because all we are shareholders in our foundation. Don't see us saying that like that. We shareholders, we are stakeholders in United Party and in the foundation. So we care about the foundation. We're not going to have the foundation shut down for the dead time. And nobody's stupid yet. Our foundation will be alive, and we'll make sure that foundation, where to go? We'll make sure that foundation survive. Yeah, I can't support the foundation here on not reporting your report little over, small over. We not care about all our statement. We won 22 reported, we move, we good. Maybe we're on the same page, right?
Yes, 100%. I concur with you, bro.
Very good. So then let's get to our board. Let's get to our board, Prince Johnson. Let's get to our senator. Let's get to our senator. Our Senator Prince Johnson is reported that he disappointed people. But what I got confused about in other news here, what I really got confused about was the fact that Mo Ali told a few weeks ago that he was not Christian and he was not Muslim. Remember when he testified?
And that statement was so diminished.
Yeah, but no. You know, ANC people attacking me. ANC people attacking me because ANC people when the 700K to situation came, that one money we invested in it, we had interest in it. We have vested interest. Until you go capture that guy from Sierra Leone, you're bringing, we lay our case down now because we know where our money going. Even though the president came out and say you're lying on the man, until the president can provide any kind of evidence that you're lying, we know the police reported to us. They're the one in charge of investigation. So whether the police lie or the president lie, that's our business. We know the man is in custody. Mose Lyle Carter, also came and told us that the man was apprehended and so forth. So film with that case. So our foundation, we'll speak on our foundation too. We care about our foundation. But let's go to Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson disappointed a lot of people today. I'm not disappointed. I don't have no expectation. I don't have any fish to fry now, or Prince Johnson like he can expose and he like get exposed in that business. This is a regular thing for them. They will come, they want to say the truth, They go by later on the top behind the heart. They come out, they get a public, different story again. So this is how they behave. It's not strange to me. I never had no expectation. I was never going to cut my sleep to wake up early morning to listen to prayer. That's never going to happen. That was never going to happen. So, no, what I go about. But Prince Johnson disappointed many people today in his assertion. But I was shocked to see Unity Party partisans line up there in a regalia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what is going on. And Mo Ali, who told the world that he is not a Christian nor a Muslim, Mo Ali was in the house of the law. So he gave life to Christ now, or what's going on?
That's the kind of confusing thing, my brother, but it has situation. We don't even know why somebody will come out publicly and say, I'm not Christian, I'm not Muslim. Now today, the president is today seeing maybe it's one of the churches. Why you go there for?
My man, I would not be surprised the men began to know men are going to blow.
Oh yeah, but that's just a normal thing now in Liberia. Anytime anybody can open church, that one thing that we observe that when you open church, when you feel that maybe you can easily cajole the mind of the people. Well,
so our own religion and that the banjo religion, anybody can just call them.
That's the thing. But and again, one thing I like about the Bible too, the Bible says, any kind of way that you feel that you are preaching the gospel, the only thing is that at least you were able to talk about God. That's just it. So yeah, so that only thing I really like. So if you like, but no sin goes unpunished. If you use the word of God to benefit or to enrich yourself, one day you're going to pay for it. That's one thing I like. So one day you will pay for it. You can get rich at the hand of the poor people, struggling people who are struggling, who don't even have food to eat, but you are taking their money, taking that or the money that they gave it to you in the name of tithe and other offering, and use the money to buy fancy cars, to live luxurious life. Why the people are struggling? Then it just speaks for them that you're not really serving the true God, because no one that will be serving the true God. Look, don't get me wrong, it is a right to enjoy your life as a person, but you can't enjoy life at the detriment of people, especially poor people.
What Melbourne, let me ask you this, because I saw the Unity Party, and this is now mutual exclusive to the Unity Party youth chair. I saw the youth chair. What the age range for youth in our country? Because they use a hell of a metro male. I'm confused.
You say who?
The youth chair.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so what the age of youth? So who then can be? Because when you see CDC, who know youth leader too? The hell of old man. What is one of the youth leader tattoo in Liberia that one thing?
And there where we come in, Steve. I'm a Baptist, right? So when I go to the Baptist church, the people, try to look at me to in fact, people ask me, maybe why do you accept about at my age now? Youth age in Liberia about 35. So even above 35, or maybe between 35, or maybe between 34 and 35, you can just see yourself and say, yeah, I'm still no. Then you go to men.
So you youth too? You youth?
Mama, we are above youth now, because
before play the music and tell the show. You youth? I want to know you youth.
Yes, I'm between youth.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wait. I want to bring you. Melbourne, you youth?
Are youth? But which type of youth are you talking about? Listen, but which type of youth are you talking about?
No, because the youth are the youth here. Maybe me, I can be youth too. So are you?
But for me,
why you like a youth?
Amen. So again, instead of farming now in the category of men, I'm no longer, because to a mate anniversary, young people are maybe between or maybe below 30. So from 16 years up to 30 years, at least we say, but because of the struggling and so on, they say, okay, 35. But another day you see 40 years old men, 45 years old, even the president. The president still call young a youth, even to the extent that people say, you're a leader boy. So you see.
Wait. So wait. Wait. My man, why you talking? Well, don't choke me yet. So President are youth.
Yeah.
President
Because they always calling, yeah. We here in Liberia, we always say, you lead the ball, not the ball time. So when you make classified as boy, then that means you are youth, right? But as an elder person, like for some of us, right, we are adult. So being that adult, you are still far from youth because you already crossed over now already. But because sometimes people don't want to be fair enough, so then there were lies, deception, everything or maybe taking place because you don't want to come out and tell people that I'm not a young person. That's
so
for
are youth.
Yeah. My man, for you, in fact,
if I show you Librarian are youth.
My man, young boy.
No, wait now. Wait. So you get youth and young boy and then.
Yeah, because so you are young boy. So when you come now to other library, maybe we may not give you the youth position. Because when we're giving you the youth position,
no. That particular guy I saw today, that particular guy that spoke as youth chairman for the Unity Party, that man, that hell old man.
Even other MDR.
I saw MDR on a youth. What I'm saying is, I was not qualified for the youth chairman position.
Then when you get opportunity to work with other people, if you stay having 40 years old man, stay parading around as a young person.
Let's get to the musical break to take a break here while we share the show. My people, when we come back, we get this training because they use conversation at Melbourne for me. In situation I can't handle.
My man, young person, in fact, come down so you can join our party of reconciliation and be the young person. Okay, in fact, you're going to be the youth chair until you reach 55. I thought you reach 55 now, but I thought you reach 55 now, start thinking about where to place you.
So Seku that youth too?
In fact, Seku can even contest a youth chair.
Wait a minute. So wait, the whole country that we're talking about now, we in reverse or what's going on? Because Seku that youth chair, a youth chair. You youth, what you youth adult, youth council, what?
So for me now, maybe I'm youth adult or I can say contest a youth. Because why? The record there, look, people don't want to be real. Look, my brother, this is what for me, for some of what we keep saying in this country. You don't have anything. It's like the man and his wife that sold the land. They went to the church. They went to the church. They told the pastor, we have piece of land. In fact, we want to sell the land, bring the money to the church. Time come, they start anything. And when the pastor asked them, is there all the money you also for the land? They say yes. What happened? The first person I read that the president go back. So the system, if you want system, you gotta be fair enough. You can't be hard things. You lie.
Wait. If Joey are youth, Alexander coming are youth.
My man, all the men are young people. You know what calling Joseph Burger old men, huh? Oh, you guys you don't know.
Wait. My man, we'll get to the thing here. Before we take the musical break.
Yeah.
So, Alexander Cummings, Joya, Musa
Conglo, all the people.
So those are the youth, the young men.
That the young people time.
Ooh.
So when Joseph Yuma Bwaka right now is the old man. But right, apart from Joseph Yuma Bwaka, all the people that can you imagine? Even if you see Honorable Alexander Cummings, right now, if you see a physical structure, his faith is strong, but if you see his head, right, all the man's head is getting gray. So, look, the stress alone can make you over before your time. That's number one thing.
So all these guys, so okay, let's go to the musical break. We'll come back. The youth conversation, we got to find time to talk about it. But someone want to talk about the national politics. Let's dance a little bit, my people, just share the show. Please share the show. We'll be right back. Hey, Friday the Cell Phone Man, one of my favorite musicians, man. I don't know. You can't beat it. You can't get any better. Friday is very good. Love what he does. Um, he's very, 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 very inspiring. I love Friday the Cell Phone Man's music or his songs. And this particular song here, my man, I can't stop playing. I can't stop playing this song, my man. I can't get it out of my head. I went to.
Yes.
I played this song. I played this song at the office, and one of the employees came in, and she said to me, "She said, what are you jamming to?" I said, "Well, what are you listening to?" I said, "Well, it's from Africa." And she started laughing. She said she likes it. So I gave her Friday Cell Phone Man name to look him up, to check him out, and she changed the topic. She said, he's cute, but I haven't connected Friday Cell Phone Man wall yet. So, but I will leave that one for another time. I need other news. Let's get to the real conversation here for today, guys. I will attach the Cash App number. At some point, we will definitely have the phones open. While we await our guest, Jerome Verdier, Councilor Jerome Verdier, for today, we'd like to. Yeah, this song never gets old, my man. Edmond never gets old. Interesting thing. Let me just appreciate Edmond openly today. Edmond is a friend and a brother. We go way back from high school, doing Arigo days and so forth. Very, very, very decent man. Very good guy. The first person in the United States that ever gave me physical cash. In America, people don't give people money easily. The first person that ever took me in a car and took me for a ride to explain America to me, I still remember that night we drove. He picked me up and we drove. He drove me around. Was Edmond. Very good man. He's a brother. Edmond, I appreciate you. You're a very good guy. Edmond is a very, very good man. He drove me around. And we had a good time that day. He explained some things to me in the car by America about some of the things, some of the expectations. I was shocked that night when I was getting out of the car. He took money from his pocket and he gave it to me. He said, "My man, welcome to America." I said, "Wow." I'm not going to call them out. But that particular man that he gave me a put me in a situation I can't handle, my man. But I'm not going to explain. Yeah, I'm not going to explain. I'm going to ask me about that one.
I can imagine now.
Not only that, I use that money.
A friend, a brother welcoming you to the unique.
Yes.
So to the United States with that kind of warm welcome.
Yes.
That speak volume. So, Edmond, bro, want to say thank you so much.
Thank you, Edmond.
The local friend, blood, that's it. So, thank you for my brother. I know that maybe that money says something in the way.
My man did that thing. I would thought I won't be on the wall. Thank
you.
That money brought in the time.
No, that's only happened somewhere.
Look at that thing. That money brought serious noise, brother. Serious noise. Yeah, that time, can you imagine from in New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey, I jacking. Tony Jackson. I got looking in the town.
My man, I looking. Just looking.
See me acting like people after I got that money now. And the people in the town, and they're bouncing on it. But anyway, let's
go. I'm seeing some photos coming up from from PYJ Church that some people are kneeling down in the church.
Yes. That's what I said earlier. Tomorrow we'll continue with that. We want to pick up from where we stopped because we have enough time on our hands here. We want to talk about it, and we will open the line early for the people that go to contribute, and we'll also open the line here for the people in the US to contribute to the conversation. But meantime, the Cash App is there. Feel free to contribute to SKTV, guys. Let's contribute to SKTV. I was reminded by a couple of our viewers and our listeners. But here is a couple of from people will say, well, this is all joke, but I heard a couple of people get their life to go out today in the senator chair. But that one a different thing. We're not discussing religion here. But let's get to yesterday we started a conversation on the path to unity, the possibility of the CPP, and lots of people got emotional. I also believe today the show will get a little heated here in a little bit because when we get into the conversation, so last night throughout last night, I thought about the conversations we had yesterday. I didn't think about it. I thought about the reactions from people and so forth. It was good. Even when you left, Dwalu was here for us to talk a little more. But again, I'll state some of the things that I said yesterday, such as, and we're talking about the CDC today. We include the CDC. My concern is in terms of Joseph Yuma Boakai and the unity in the CPP. What does Joseph Yuma Boakai bring to the table in terms of, and this is going to be for him to feel entitled to the, if they were ever to come together, to feel entitled to the leadership of the CPP, considering, here is it. 2017, Joseph Yuma Boakai only won Lofa County in the second round. Out of 15 counties he won, in the history, the records are still there. President George, we are like him or not, beat Joseph Yuma Boakai one-on-one. That's what you call beat. That one, they beat him. That one-on-one. Two of them choke with the President George. We are being flat down. 14 out of 15 counties. That's a huge blowout, we would say, in America. You know, they blew him out, I mean, in other words. But fast forward, over the past 5 years, and I predicted this on Spoon Talk, the 31st of 2021. I was on Spoon Talk, and we were discussing what to expect the next year because there was this pending election in Lofa County. And I said two things, and I'll stand by it today again. I would not retract what I've said because the circumstances surrounding this prediction has not changed. And so if the circumstances have not changed, that means everything stayed constant. I said Joseph Yuma Boakai and the UP would lose in Lofa to the CDC or whatever candidate or whoever it is, whoever the CDC support. Many people didn't pay attention. Some people came there emotionally, started to attack me as opposed to kind of what I've said. And the reason I said is this: it's easy for you to make any other claims, but please listen to this. Politics requires money. Let me tell you today, if you don't know, politics requires money. That's one of the prerequisites to winning any election in the world. Let me tell you today, let nobody fool you. Say numbers can make you win. Numbers is part of the prerequisites. Money is critically important to get you to even reach out to the numbers that you claim you got, to motivate them, to stimulate them, to get them to come out to vote. Money can be that driving factor. So without money, the numbers that you have in your head cannot be seen or cannot be demonstrated. So money is very important. As evidenced by that, even the big billionaires you see in America, Donald Trump, when they are going to camp, when the election time, you know what they can do? They can ask us to contribute $5, $10, $1, anything you get. Imagine a billionaire asking you to contribute to their campaign. They know that you're not rich. They know that you don't have that amount of money, but they know that they will need every cent. So your ability to raise money, to get money, puts you at a very hard advantage in politics. It does. It does. So when I put on the tables a couple of nights before I went on Spoon Talk, things were not adding up for the Unity Party. In their head, they still claim that they have the biggest numbers or they're the biggest opposition party because they had this vote from 2017. But reality has changed though. And Josh Weah's incompetence and failure does not automatically mean the Liberian people will revert to the Unity Party. You have to do something to ensure that your voters or the number you had during the previous election either go up or stay consistent or constant. They've not done that. Joseph Yuma Boakai has not done the work in Lofa County that he needs to do. I'm from Lofa County. The people from Lofa County, they're not just sitting down and waiting to vote for Joseph. That aren't you. Let nobody fool you. So I said, in as much that I criticized the Weah-led government, But I've seen the strategy of the CDC. The CDC, when the CDC lost and they started losing ground in Monserrato, you know the first strategy they employed? They took Jefferson Koji, carried him to Lofa County, made Jefferson Koji to support our football and keyboard team in Lofa County. That was brilliant. That was a good strategy. Whether it's political or not, it was a good strategy. Jefferson Koji went there for one of the very first time. In most recent times, we won the championship. Lofa County. Under whose direction, auspices that happened? Jefferson Koji. So it remains in the minds of the young people in Lofa and the older people. I sat here proudly as a Lofien celebrating. I didn't say because it was Jefferson Koji and other people from the CDC who orchestrated that move. That means I can celebrate. I celebrated. Who tell you I didn't feel proud as a Lofien? I felt proud as a Lofien. What CDC were doing essentially was not necessarily saying, let's get the United Party out of Lofa County. No. All they were doing, they were fighting to cut off the numbers of Joseph Yuma Boakai. That's what they were doing. We also saw publicly that some key members from the United Party who helped Joseph Yuma Boakai in 2017 got to get the numbers that he had in Lofa. Resigned. They resigned. So you see, that alone tells you that the United Party is in trouble. But Joseph Yuma Boakai and the UP, they were not doing anything. They were sitting in Monrovia, feeling entitled that they would get the vote that they got with this notion that they have the numbers. Well, the numbers are not kept in a vault. That's not how it works in politics. This thing is dynamic. And if you don't make the case, if you can't get your voter out, if you can't give the people reasons to vote, guess what? They will go somewhere where they have reasons to vote or to someone they have reasons to vote. So the other part of it also that I saw that were playing to their disadvantage, to the Unity Party's disadvantage, I saw Thomas Fala after he lost to Delon. Guess what Thomas Fala did? Thomas Fala went to Lofa. He added on to the work that Jefferson Koji already started doing. Mind you, both men are from Lofa. I said, read there and then, this is a problem. But the Unity Party was not paying attention to these strategies employed by the CDC. Again, don't get me wrong. If the CDC does what is right, I will support them, I will hail them, and I will give them the necessary praises that they need. I'm not a sycophant. And this is how we should all be. So the men they work in Lofa. Few days to the election, that's when Joseph Yuma Boakai, Benin Yue, Darius Delon, and Yeke Koluba went to Lofa. Let me tell you something. You who feel entitled and you feel like you do no work. Joseph Yuma Boakai will send down to rehab. And automatically the Labrampo will come and vote for him because the mistakes of George, we are the incompetence and ineptitude of this current government that includes all three branches will make the Labrampo automatically revert to Joseph Yuma Boakai as the option in your camp. You're calling the rescue or rescue mission. You people are in utopia. You are not in touch with reality. You must do the work. You have to. This entitlement syndrome must come out of your heads. If not, you're going nowhere. Few weeks of that, few days, the troops went to Lofa. And they started jogging all in the street. I just felt sorry for them. I saw Dillon and Yeke jogging all in the street, like automatically, like they're the savior. You think that religion, yeah? Where you see your savior, then everybody run to the savior. You forgot about all your hunger. Everything, everybody run to the savior, the savior. No, they're not you. The people remember how Jefferson Koji made them feel when Lofa County won the competition. The people remember when Thomas Fala went to Lofa County and started to do some work in Lofa County. The people remember these things. These are facts. These are things that's what it is. And that's how it's supposed to be in politics. You must do something to leave an imprint and a mark. You don't feel entitled. That's not how it works. So I said on Spoon Talk that they would be defeated. I said, Joseph, there was no way they can win. Down to make it worse, the day of the election, the United Party ate their own pool wash of money. They undermine themselves. And they can't say that in public and say the CDC cheated them and the other person cheated them. No, you didn't do your homework. So you will now win in Lofa County. And I said another prediction. Joseph Yuma Baga will not run. I stand by it today. I've not retrieved it. And I will not retrieve it. I stand by it. I'm saying it again. Because the circumstances, what we are seeing, is not adding up. I believe okay, no problem. I got it. What we are seeing.
Yeah, so we have a minute to go. So I think I don't know whether you will join us later. Yes, after the news break.
Yes, we'll join you right after the news break. In the meantime, we'll be recapping some of these things so that we can get into the most recent conversation.
All right, thank you so much. So for there you have it.
So guys, stay tuned while you're here. Those on the radio will join us in a little bit here. So when we say some of these things, some of us, you're coming, you're cause us, you're go against us, you're saying with Alexander Cummings people, with the other people. We're not seeing you guys doing the work to feel entitled or to get what you listen. It's okay. It's okay for you to say. I'm saying it again. It's okay for you to say. Lofa County that was stronghold. It is okay, but it is also okay for you to do the work to maintain your stronghold. Let me tell you that life is a competition in itself. It is a competition. Who told you other people don't want to make Lofa County the stronghold? Who told you other people are not doing work in Lofa County? Now, your ability to be able to step up and stop this entitlement and for nothing ego, and you're running around with. This is where, listen, this is where the problem is. I don't have any problem with United Party people. I don't have any problem with Joseph Yuma Boakai. I don't. I will never. It's not personal. But the fact remains the fact. We cannot be in Liberia and we say we want change. We want equality, justice, and so forth. And one group of people feel entitled over the other group of people that it must be Joseph Yuma Baga who must be the head of the TK. And if they're not Joseph Yuma Baga who the head of the TK, then we got to burn the country down. No, that's not how it works. We told y'all decide to be in your CPP, y'all wrote your own documents, everybody signed up to it, y'all go through the process. Y'all say y'all not go through the process. Y'all say y'all not go through the process. Today, you guys are stuck. Today, you guys are stuck. You want to blame the word for what's going on with you. You can't blame the word for what's going on with you. You can't. Do your work. Y'all need a big mouth. Y'all need an entitlement business. Do your work. Stop making it feel like somebody owe you for y'all to lead the ticket. Stop. Y'all stop it. Y'all stop the propaganda and lies. Y'all stop it. Y'all get serious. Y'all get serious. Is United Party one of the recognized parties? Yes. And all of what some of all have done to openly criticize you and call you out is to strengthen the Unity Party for you to do what is right. Y'all go listen to the tapes. Everything I said, I've never said it to dishonor anybody in the Unity Party. But because the same mentality that some politicians have, that they feel entitled, nobody can question them. Everybody, we should just turn to Jowea. Jowea are the problem. And we shouldn't question the other party. We shouldn't question the other party. That's what's going on. And today, here you guys are. Fast forward, you've lost so much connection in the diaspora. Or there be more people than you get. As you say, you're getting normal. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you today. When you get numbers for two in politics, when you get number for two in politics, even when you go collect money, they can show. Yeah. The issue of numbers, you can't beat it. You can't cheat it. You can't cheat numbers. You can't beat numbers. That's why numbers are consistent. Everywhere you go, that one in the language, that one in the communication, nobody can cheat it. Numbers in France, French man, when you see number, you know that a number. Somebody that don't speak English from Japan, when they see number, they know that a number. Chinese person see number, they know that a number. But we're not opening the line here, my people. We won't open the line here. We'll open the line. We'll open the line, my people. We'll open the line, y'all talk. But y'all go to the cash app in the meantime. So because we want a playing field where the Labrampo will have options. In your propaganda and lies, you think you're smart, but you keep shooting yourselves in the foot. And when we try to give your heads up, you'll go against us. Some of us, you'll fight us. You'll cause us. All the thing we do is for a better Liberia. All the thing we do is for a better Liberia. I was even on the show and I told y'all need to start putting yourself together. Among all the candidates in the political party in Liberia, Joseph Boakai is the audience. The Unity Party need to start looking for somebody in the Unity Party to resurrect the Unity Party just in case Joseph Boakai resigns from politics. That costs again. I wish in the paper bad luck. You pass around, you talk nonsense. Only because you are short-sighted, you are just thinking about going to power. You can't do that. You can't do that. Of all of the candidates, the odious person is Joseph Boakai. You are running around in cycles, cause all the noise, cause everybody. Why do you think the government never sent for one of the key witnesses, Yomikanga Lawrence, to come and testify? Only Joseph Boakai brought to testify. Why do you think so? Saying you're smart, you know politics. All your worry about your God in the layer with the government. In the layer with the government. In the day, you say your opposition. And some of y'all, that because of confidentiality and respect, if not so, we will tell people to play your voice messages, your voice recording. When you're begging the government, they sing government and you can come. You're just deceptive by nature. They sing government people, you can be begging in the night. You think they think Joey I can be talking, so you can be begging them for money? You think that lie? Hello? Yes, who is this, please? Yes, this is Steve. Let me send you the link. Do I send it to your phone? I don't think so. Let me text you my email. Okay, I will text you my email as well, but I'll send it to the phone. Thank you. Sorry, I think we have some miscommunication here about our. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys, we have some miscommunication here. We have our guests who did not get the link. So I see why I keep getting that number. I thought that IRS calling me to ask me about our. I thought that IRS was calling me to ask me about our foundation and how much we collect it. I thought that IRS calling me to ask me about our foundation, how much we collect it. But I'm IRS, you're sorry. Hey, but I just see the number from the DC area. I said, but wait a minute. Or did we do the IRS again? I thought our foundation money they wanted to ask for if that 22 we collected about 2 or that less. I get very good. But anyways, so you see all of these things are working against these people, but they come out and they play the tough face. They are like nothing's happening and everything is okay. Even as we speak now, even the rent, the landlord, the old place they were. Let me tell you something, they do whole thing here, will not work again in Liberia. The old place they were. Do you know that up until now they haven't even paid the man? They owe him almost 200,000. A party that just left power not too long ago. This shows irresponsibility at the highest level. When we talk about some of the things, you get that's with us. When we talk about these things, you get that's with us. You can't even afford to pay your own bill. But you say you want to lead country. You want to lead the country. What Where we going? Not the same mistake we made with John Weah. John Weah was struggling for money. Allegedly, Prince Johnson, they all had to call him to carry him to Nigeria to pay men of God, TB Joshua. No wonder he came when he became men of God to pay TB Joshua for money. Allegedly. Sheikh said he collected money from the Russian and gave it to him too. We know how many other people collected money to give it to him. And you say money not important, you get number. Then why you're passing around? The deception and you're pompous and proud for no reason. Let me tell you something. You can't be broke and you proud and frisky. You can't do it. You can't do no two things, no work together. You broke but you frisky and you proud. The people that's all to help you for you to lower your voice. You won't fight them. You won't impose your will with entitlement syndrome. Then pay that rent. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Then pay that rent. The landlord come and bring out all your behind again. So you see, all of this small thing there. When we talk, then you get there. You go take care of business. You go take care of business. That's what people do. And all these things, the 2017 elections, nobody held Joe Weah accountable. Nobody held Joe Weah accountable. Nobody. Joe Weah was broke. For them to tell the public that Joe Weah was broke. Even if you're loving, then you'll raise money for him. They lied. They said Joe Weah had 80 million. Joe Weah this. They told all kind of foolishness about Joe Weah. To cajole and lie to the Liberian people. Today, soon you made Joe Weah president. The first move that Joe Weah made was to start building condominiums. And that the same thing we say again. Because we don't want a repeat of these things. Let's correct these mistakes. Then we can move forward. You can't say, let's forget it, we'll get it, we'll take care of it. That's not how it works. That's being irresponsible. When we say it, then you'll get very all. When we say you'll get very all. I said it on the show before. I said it on the Ascendi show when she invited me in the afternoon with her on her show. You'll say ANC man, a CDC man. I said, and I stand by it. Stanton sponsored JMB's trip. And the money, the person that they were giving the money to sponsor the trip, the first time JMB came, that first time he came, and he talked about arrest and that they want standing there wearing Wokosu or whatever it is. That Costa was the money man passing that what make it JMB and Costa like that. Costa was the money man that what make Costa the face of it. The Airbnb that was rented, the SUVs, I said don't get the money. So that means a criminal money you have been using to make the paper the loan. When we talk the thing, we hear the paper. But these are all facts, though. These are all facts. We can't afford to make the same mistakes we made with George Weah. And that's why I'll keep saying, in my own way, every day, let's not make this issue about removing George Weah. It cannot be about removing George Weah. Then we'll be missing the mark. It can never be, it should never be about removing George Weah. Because George Weah is doing everything to remove himself. What we need to do is to hold George Weah accountable, but those who want to come to power, hold them accountable as well. In fact, those who want to come to power should be the ones that we should focus on the most. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. I don't listen to somebody who got ambassador in front of the name, but they've never been ambassador to tell you and say you're a liar. So I don't listen to you. You might not like what I say though, but there is no reason for me to lie on anybody. So, and I will continue to say what I'm saying. I've been consistent in what I said from day one, and I will be consistent in what I say every day. Whether you like me, you don't like me. The only way I will not say what I'm saying here again until the situation, the circumstances changes or change. As long as they remain constant as they are, I will stick with everything I've said. Again, I ain't got no reason to lie. No reason. I ain't got no reason to lie. I have nothing against Joseph Yuma Bagai. Nothing against the Unity Party. But these are all facts. And we can't go around them and say that politics. We can't do that. We can't do that. We cannot do that. Don't, when I'm reading comments and things like that, when I see your real name and I see you and you appear serious, then maybe I'll acknowledge you. But somebody who get ambassador for any never been ambassador before, you tell me say I lie, as I will take you. As you see what I mean? You see what I mean? You imagining in your head that you are an ambassador, that you are so serious. Go change your name for any country. Go put your name where your parent man get you. Put it there for it. And you can't tell me. You call yourself ambassador, you never been ambassador before, I don't take you serious. You deceptive by nature. So go sit down somewhere. Anyways, so the things that we are saying, we're not saying it because of hate. We're saying it because we cannot repeat the same mistakes. We cannot afford to make the same mistakes. And hiding your political party or political leaders' failure, shortcomings, does not make you smart. It does not make you a political genius. It does not mean you understand politics. That's not what it means. That's not what it means at all. It just means you are setting yourself up for failure. In counseling and in psychology, we call it self-sabotage. I mean, you're going in front of to fail. The road that you own, you will fail. I don't care what you do. 1 second, guys. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have myself on mute. So thank you for the reminder, Ahmed. I did have myself on mute. I didn't even realize it. So when we're saying some of these things, again, we're not saying it because we hate a certain party or we prefer a certain group of people over a certain group of people. If we must change Liberia, then we must do it, the right way, my people. I think Melbourne is back. We can get Come on. I mean, you say tell what time again, then later on you say that time 5 minutes ago.
No, that go. Sorry, I was trying to get to you, so instead of doing, you can't get a video. It's just that, so you gotta be playing something. At
Yeah.
least, yeah. So we're back, and yeah. So how they going? And we see a lot of photos still coming up from the church.
Yeah, my man, the church issue today, the United Party, some of the United Party leadership made the president fell there. It just showed desperation too as well. Umatoso and Utoso. Umatoso and Utoso. We can't say we won't come to power on the expense of the mistakes church we are making. That's not, you have a solid plan, make the case so that the people, but we should be having Councillor Jerome Verdier joining us
Okay.
any minute from now. So Mama, what is your take?
I want to ask you a question before you ask, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I have a question.
Yeah, because my question, with all these things that's happening among the politicians, do you really see Liberia system getting better? Do you really see us moving forward as people, or you think that we are still recycling? What kind of people do you expect, or what kind of Liberia do you expect few years from now?
Yes, I think we have our guest here. Let me
Okay. I
just
think you got to bring on the guest.
yeah, let me bring the guest on so that at least. But your question is a very good question. Bring the guest on. Councillor, how are you? Do you mind please putting the camera up a little bit more so we can
Yeah, so that the people can see the council. Very important.
this situation you can't handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that last question he was asking, not a bad question.
Yeah, that question there, but the question that we're going to bring to the council now. Council,
Yeah.
well, let's have you please introduce yourself just a little briefly for some new people join us as well. So we're like, please.
Well, I wanted to say sorry, but that Valentine weekend, so I will not go into the sorry thing, but wish that.
The council want to bring us a social life. Well, we like that.
Yeah, so that's why, and I have to squeeze time to be able to make it. And so I was slow in coming, but I'm glad you guys are understanding. So, what's the question? Whether the political future?
No, would you please introduce yourself to our people? Let people get to know who the council
Oh,
is.
I wanted to go straight into his question. I didn't put no. Well, I'm Councillor Verdier, Jerome J. Verdier, and a long-time social justice advocate. And I was taken back into my element, when I saw McLean Render at the Capitol building, and he was dragged by security people. It took my mind all the way back to the years of Samuel Doe and all of those things when we were battling with state authorities, and unfortunately he was the lone man, but we didn't used to do those things alone. We always had backup. We always do it with 2 or 3 persons, and that's something he has to consider. Maybe people are afraid or people are scary or are not very brave, but if he had other people there with him, it wouldn't have been so easy for them to bring him down. And I understand it's not the first time the City Hall people did that to him also, but I'm a long-time advocate. And one time I said on one show, I'm one of few persons who have shaken the hands of every president in Liberia since Totman. I shook hands with Totman, I shook hands with Talbot, I shook hands with Doe, I shook hands with Cllr, I shook hands with Edding, and then this so-called president we have in power now, I shook hands with him 1 or 2 times. That's the extent of my activism. I've been involved. And I shook hands with a lot of foreign presidents too. During the 1979 OAU. Was it OAU in Liberia? Yes. Yeah, I shook hands with a lot of those guys who came, including Godfather Mary and the old man from Tanzania, from Zambia, and all of that. So my activism goes all the way back. And if people should know now, I was head of the TRC, which just recently ended several 12 years ago. But since then, I am the executive director of the International Justice Group. We are bringing forces together to advocate for justice in Liberia, to fight against corruption. When corruption was so nasty, we campaigned vigorously for sanctions, and the US government listened to us, and we said let it be targeted sanctions. Targeted sanctions. There are key people who are very corrupt. There are key people who are behind human rights violations in Liberia and undermining the rule of law and democracy. Let's target them. Now, three major individuals have been targeted already, but that's not sufficient. We are still campaigning for more, but we don't work for the US government, so they have their own ways of doing their own things. So they have their own policy decisions on how to approach it and giving it the weakness of the government, what to do, and all of that. And then with elections just around the corner, which we hope will be possible, but it's highly unlikely. So that's what I am. And Steve, it's
Thank,
good to
thank,
be around.
thank you so much, Counselor. I know the guys on the radio, we have maybe 30 minutes or more. So I would really suggest that we ask you we ask you a few questions. We'll open the line so that we can interact with the people from Liberia as well to get one
Okay.
or two questions for them, especially those from Liberia. And then once we leave the radio, we can also interact with the people in the diaspora.
Okay.
And so today we have the opportunity for you to interact with lots of people as opposed to just us here. Last time we didn't do justice to our people, so we want to make it up.
Okay.
Yes, I know you talked
Enough.
most recently about the issue. Just before I ask you this first question, one of my Oma, I told her, I said, well, we'll be coming on the show later on today in Liberia. She said, well, y'all be coming on the show that who you're bringing for all today. I said, Oma, we're bringing Councilor Jerome Verdier. She said, my son, that boat will be because we'll be our radio. I said, Oma, Councilor Jerome Verdier, he was chairman for the TRC. She said that we're gonna no more letter than they talking TRC. I said, no. The man who was responsible for the war economic. She said, oh, war crankle man. I said, yeah.
Oh, that's
So most of our women, in our population, someone refer to you as that. But here, with that title, but here is something I wanted to ask you. This caught my attention before we get to the McLean issue here. The boss from NEC, and I'm piggybacking on the assertion you made that about the election, the possibility of that not holding. Her statement most recently about the election got me very, very concerned, and I thought about it, the conversation we had with you here previously. That let me read this quotation here really quick to you. The House of Representatives. Yesterday, she appeared at the House of Representatives, and this is what she said. She was asked. Lasana noted why the commission was ready to carry out the country's first biometric voter registration as planned. There will be no biometric voting. Instead, a manual method would be employed. And she went on to talk about the money issue and so forth. Councillor Jerome Verdier, are we having a serious confusion that could lead into a constitutional crisis here? Because one minute we're switching to biometrics, another minute we're going back to manual. We can't do the biometric because we don't have the money. What are we up to? What are we setting up ourselves for as a nation?
Well, unfortunately, we do not have good leadership, and the Liberian people are prepared for the strengthening of our democracy. But unfortunately, those who are leading us are not prepared. All of this is part of a scheme by the government to delay the elections. Unfortunately, they have gotten the message from our last discussion that if the elections are delayed, they will not be the beneficiaries. Nobody is responsible for them not scheduling elections on time and not providing budgetary allocations for elections. I don't review government budgets because they are not practical, they are not realistic. It's just a question of taking figures from here, there, and all of that. But it was my information that appropriate allocations for elections were made, even though we are in election year. Um, the government doesn't seem to be taking the entire thing seriously. They are finding ways to prolong their stay in power. And constitutionally, you cannot do that. That's why we have the Constitution as um, um, the supreme law, the supreme instrument to govern what we do. Elections should be held on time so that people can govern by the consent and authority of the people. If elections are not held in October, which I strongly believe will not be possible, if we are to have a good, credible elections, we need the assistance of the international community now to come in and help to straighten it up and announce a different date. But the Elections Commission cannot do that because they haven't put things in proper perspectives. Their plans are not on course. So it's difficult to say when. So for now, we keep seeing on course until we get to the very dire minute. Voters roll. Let's not even talk about the updating. The last one, they don't even have it in order. The Supreme Court mandated that since we said we cannot overturn these corrupt elections that brought George Weah to power, clean the voters' roll and have it verified. That should have been done a long time ago. It has not happened. So you have to verify the current voters' roll before you decide to add others to it. The last one was filthy. It was corrupted. There was no basis for elections. That's why we see Cabinet Jana is not there today. Cabinet said, but in the midst of this, how can we sanction these elections? Let the people go and do their work, and we run this whole process. And the source Cabinet Jana as
You're muted. Yeah, you're muted. Hello? Councillor Verdier? No, it's not you, Noble. It's Councillor Verdier. He's muted. Something from his device.
Yes, in fact, we are not getting. But I don't know. I don't know, Steve. If you are there, you can continue.
Yeah, you can hear me? Noble.
Yes, I'm getting you loud and clear.
Councillor Verdier, would you log back out and come back in? I think that might help. Yeah, that might help.
And he's still talking. So yeah.
So Councillor Verdier, I'll be right back. To answer your question, Newborn, there are some hope. There are some hope. And some of the hope that I see that we could benefit from, maybe in the near future, but is a long-term benefit that maybe our children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren will benefit from, is the issue of accountability and, exposing government issues. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So thank you, Councillor. So I did see, and I think the word followed the young man that was dragged from the Capitol building.
Yeah.
Um, you've worked in Liberia, out of Liberia, and so forth. Is this could this be considered a human right violation? Um, crimes against humanity? What bracket would this fall under? The actions that we saw openly that's recorded on Facebook or YouTube and other places. What would this be recorded under? First of all, let's establish those places first.
It's a human rights violation.
Okay.
And it could be extended to crimes against humanity because he was dragged, he was flogged, and latest information I gathered was that he had to go to hospital. And his body, I saw pictures of his body being bandaged. So he was wounded. So that's an extent.
So if let's say if a lawsuit was to come, would this go to the legislature, the executive, the judiciary, or all three branches of government would have to face this lawsuit? What would you say?
Eventually, it will come to all three branches of government. It depends. But as a lawyer, I will advise him to go after the individuals who touched his body, who dragged him. Reason being, they were identified, yes, but we don't have any information as to whether they had authority from those who are the higher ups to do what they did. And I'm convinced that civil society is going to take on a lawsuit against them. And they will have to come to court and say they were acting under authority. Then that's when those branches will come, the authorities in those branches will come in. But they did a wrong thing. You cannot have authority to do the wrong thing. If the man violated any law, did he violate any law? I wouldn't think so, because the properties he touched were not properties of the capital. They were not properties of the judiciary. They were things that were done by individuals who were campaigning. So he cannot say he was protecting capital grounds. Those things were not put there as instruments of the capital. And by what he was doing, he didn't obstruct any legislative function or duty for which he should be handled the way he was.
But let me play the devil's advocate here and push back a little bit, Counselor. Considering most recently we saw the ruling from the Supreme Court, NEC, and the government at large in the case of Bernie Samuka, that when he said he acted under the instructions of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the court still held him liable. So why if they go to court and these guys say, hey, we didn't tell them to do that? So those guys will be charged. The people who perpetrated the act, the perpetrators, right?
They are the ones to be charged, yes.
Okay.
They are the ones that will be sued, that should be sued. Okay. Let him come and prove that they authorized him to do it. Then it will draw them in. If they come to court and said, oh, my boss, for example, the speaker told me to do it, or the president pro tem, ordered me, I'm subject to orders, or the sergeant of arms told me to come and do it. Then he's shifting responsibility now to those people. Then that's the time they will come in, and they will be invited in, or in his defense, they will be compelled to come in. But at this stage, I will advise, and when I was discussing with advocates, I said, yes, those are the people we should target. Let's forget about the big people. If the big people really send them, then they will come, and then we'll deal with them at that level. Bernie Samuka was speaking as a military man who takes instructions directly from his chief executive. And the court refused to consider that other issue as to whether somebody else authorized him to. But by operation of law, when the man said the chief executive told me to do it, that matter is supposed to freeze as far as he's concerned, because the military man is saying, my commander-in-chief told me to do it. And it was not a case of a heinous crime like murder, where nothing like that would be entertained, but it was just a financial action or a financial transaction. So when he said I was under instruction to do it, they should have entertained evidence on that. And according to Brandon Samuka, he provided ample, but the court will not take note of any of that because nobody wants to cross Madame Seli's path.
Okay.
Especially considering Mr. Weir and all of that. We know what has been happening. So
Okay.
that was the situation. It's a little bit different from these guys. These are acts of brutality, that's crime against humanity, that's violation of human rights. And let's assume if the fellow guys did, the guy did wrong. Or should I just go to him, stop him, and say, my man, leave. Stop what you're doing. Or if possible, serve him with a notice. Okay, that what you have done is wrong. You are under arrest. We are going to arrest you, or we will bring you to court, or we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do that. This is 21st century.
Right.
You don't just drag a human being and dash you on the street like you are treating a dog. I felt so bad, and I felt sorry too that I was not in the country. So I urge activists to get involved and make sure it doesn't just slide. It should go as far as the Supreme Court. Let there be there are several issues involved in this matter.
Okay.
Yeah, even the issue of campaigning. The Elections Commission says they haven't declared campaign season open. So that case will bring in the issue of campaigning. Then issue, what do you do when people violate the election laws? Somebody has spoke to the Elections Commission, said they don't have any authority to penalize, to stop, or to restrain any political party from violating their laws. Can you imagine? That is very, 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 very sad. And the guy didn't target one particular poster; he targeted all of them that were on display. So his point was, this is not electoral. I mean, this is electoral season, but it's not time for campaigning. On that authority, the authority of the Elections Commission, he was acting on his own, and as a civil society activist, that we should follow the rules, we should follow the laws, we shouldn't be violating. So yeah, that put him in a good position. Okay, he was acting on behalf of the Elections Commission as a civil society advocate or activist. It was well in his right and his scope of duties to do that. It is the political parties who put up the banners that should react to him, not somebody who is working at the Capitol building. He didn't do anything to obstruct the function of the legislature or the executive.
Okay. Well, Milburn, do you have any question for the councilor before we turn to the lines here?
I think so far, if the councilor can still remember my question from the beginning that you talked about addressing, I think that's the only question. So if you can still remember, then
please repeat it. Please repeat it.
Okay. Sorry. So I was asking as to where are we as people, especially with the kind of style of politicking, the way our politicians are now behaving, the old, the new, everybody just mixing things out. 10 years from now, or 5, or maybe 15 or 20 years from now, which type of Liberia do we expect to see? Which type of politics are we really thinking about? Because everything you do, you got to think ahead of you. You will not be thinking about today. So 10 years or 15 years from now, which type of politics do we expect to see here in Liberia?
Well, 5 years from now, things will change. And in this year, things will change. My campaign to the Liberian people is don't vote Mr. Weir. And if you look in the opposition, any of those gentlemen who are in the opposition, if they are elected, it will bring a change to our political establishment. So change is just on the horizon. Change is about to come. The old style politics you see from Mr. Weir, make the people hungry, deprive them of all that they need, the resources, the opportunities and all of that, so they can look up to you as the godfather to provide everything for them. That's the politics of the past. Okay, if you see Liberia, 1847, and you see the University of Liberia, that university was constructed for what? Maybe 300,000, 400,000 people who were resident in Monrovia at the time. There was no planning. There was no projection of future, what is to come and what will happen. Until when Torvald came, the reality hit him and he said, oh, we need a Fender, we need a bigger campus. People were not thinking. Look at this current government. That is the same old practice. The economy depends on the extraction of our natural resources. The economy has no way of computing employment and unemployment. For them, employ everybody in government, then the government is doing well. You go to government offices, I saw it when I was there. You go to government offices, you have 4 or 5 persons who are what, messengers or expediters. They have changed the nomenclatures from messengers to expediter to office boy to office care, office boy number 1, office boy number 2, all of that. People don't feel that the economy should be dynamic enough. But look at somebody like Honorable Cummings. He has wide exposure into the international community. So the issue of job creation has to be an issue for him, because he's from an environment where they were reading the figures every now and then, and they were calculating how do we create jobs and all of that. And I can tell you there are thousands and more ways of creating jobs in Liberia. But our politicians are not thinking. They are the wrong people for Liberia today. George Weah refused to open his mind, refused to surround himself with good advisors. All they know their mission there in government now is to steal. Let's steal, let's grab as much as we can get, and then move on. Look at Honorable Boykai. He's been in government for a long time. He's a man who started from the grassroots in government, from as low as being, I think, office manager, or how do you call it thing, student, vacation student, and all of those kind of things. He has come up the line. So when somebody like him is in power with his experience and his statesmanship, he will be prepared to listen to what people have to say, and he will know how to adjust to the realities of the time. Yes, he's from the old school, but unfortunately, he seems to be dynamic and is prepared to look into the future. And that is why we tell the politicians that, look, the rule of law and democracy go like this. You cannot have democracy, you don't have the rule of law. And with that comes what, justice and all of that. Councillor Tiamo Gongolo, he's a lawyer. He's been playing in the system all along. He himself is a job creator. He himself is an employer. He understands the need for it. But look at Mr. Weah. He's still in the past. He's still in the past. He's not prepared to open his mind and move forward. So if the Liberian people can take any one of those distinguished opposition leaders, the change will start in October. The change will start in December. By January 2023, for the 24, we have a new direction, and I can tell
all right,
you.
so follow-up question quickly before we go to the line. With the opposition that we just seen today, there are photos all flying around coming from the Senator Church or Senator Prince Johnson Church. These were the same people that were shouting or yelling around here for war crime court. How come now they are now associating with people who they want to be persecuted? How?
I don't know who all you're talking about, but you mentioned church. I don't recognize those churches. Those are shrines that were created not to honor God. They are not churches. They are platforms. Jeha Yogaya platform. They got their own platform too. Prince Johnson platform, George Weah platform. For them, that's their way of speaking to the people. You see, we are here. We are trying to reach out to the Liberian people. That's the same for them. They are not churches. But the War and Economic Crimes Code is important. And there are 2 reasons I've been saying all along. The reason why people don't support it is because of interest or fear. Now it's been 12 years. I don't think anybody has fear now that there will be war. If there's the war crimes, the War Crimes Code. No. After 12 years, there's no war law who will bring war here. So it's not about fear anymore, it's all about interest. So people are playing politics with it. I give you the case of Ambassador Boakai. Madam Serif didn't want him to see anything about the War on Economic Crimes Court, and she wanted protection. And he said to her, I cannot guarantee you protection. I don't know what the situation is. When I get to power, the law will lead and direct, and will follow the laws, the way the law goes. And she vehemently opposed, and she went to the extent where she said, if you become president, their hair will grow in my palm. So she opposed him. She rigged the elections to put George Weah there. And George Weah came up publicly. I watched him when he went on a Ghanaian television. That was the last time I saw him. And he said, yes, I'm going to protect Madam Serif and her family. They need protection, so my government will protect them. And that's how he got to power. He made that promise, he made that commitment to her, and he's in power today, and he's carrying on that protection. And you can see he's trying to threaten Prince Johnson with it and all of that. But that's the politics of what they are doing. They are playing politics with a significant issue that has to do with the future of our country.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Councilor. Well, if you are just following us, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is SKTV. We're in a conversation with Councilor Jerome Verdier. Please, we're also following the live feed in your comments and so forth. Again, as always, let's be respectful to our guests. Let's disagree respectfully, can make your points without using curse words. Please, if you do, we will remove your comment for the first time. And this is a public service announcement to all of you. If you continue, then we'll block you. We're not going to church to pray for that, for that, or for anyone to forgive you. We will block you, just so you know. So, Councilor Verdi, I want to give chance to the viewers and so forth, but we'll find out.
Can we come to Liberia? Can we come to Liberia? We have our
yes. Liberia will be the first. Liberia will be the first. I wanted to push back on the statement that you made, because we are on air. It's important for us to have some of this clarity, especially coming from you. You are not just anybody. You're a counselor, you are a stakeholder as well. You made a claim that, are you insinuating that because Joseph Yuma Boakai could not guarantee Ellen Johnson Sirleaf protection, that's why Ellen Johnson Sirleaf refused to support him? Is that what you were saying, Councilor?
That's what I said. Or I insinuated.
Okay.
That's the reason she didn't support her vice president.
Okay.
Because he could not guarantee that he would protect, or she and her family members from justice.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the clarity. I just want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah.
Milbo, it's up to you, please.
All right, so 0770-2031, please. A minute per call will take at least, or maybe we will go up to, because we have less than 10 minutes to go. So 0770-2031-25, please be brief, and please be saver with your question or your statement, please. 0770-2031-25, and you'll be live on Truth FM 96.1. And let me get to the line and pick my first caller. Hello. Yeah, my brother, good evening. What's your name and from where you joining us?
Thank you. This is the voice of Keeper. Let me say good evening to you and good evening to your panelists.
Go ahead.
Say hi also to our CM and Jerome.
I'm not hearing you.
You make my night, and I can tell you for free, God bless you, and you will continue to live until you go and see your great children. Look, that is the most important thing some of us have been talking about here. The reason why Madam Steady didn't put support for Vice President in that time, that was Joseph Boakai, because he refused to agree with her to protect your children. How will you come on the table as a leader who came to fight for people, or who came to fight corruption, and you are highly involved into corruption? So it's a blow to you, and we will come 2023 October 10th this year. We will vote highly for you, Joseph Boakai.
All right, thank you so much. So to this caller, hello.
Hello?
Yeah, my brother, good evening. What's your name and from where you joining us?
Yeah, this is Brown Tabby, calling from Camp.
Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, the first thing I want to clarify is that the selection commission statement, she made is to clean out, because people usually register in one constituency by manual voter registration. So this biometric registration will help for one person to vote, to register one time. That's my point I want to make on about. But I want to add somebody. Okay, I want to add that on the instruction of Bill Bull, say for example, we are in the election season, but they are not time for campaign to be declared. And I, Brown Daddy, put a poster up, and just say Brown Daddy, and my knee is Brown Daddy, now vote Brown Daddy. Is it the crime under election law? You as the councilor.
Okay, thank you so much. So let me get to the line, pick this call. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. This is Apostle Basha, aka Red Power, calling from Power Station, Mount Franklin.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to thank you all so much for the topic on the discussion. And we're looking up to July for 2023 October, because we want justice to prevail in this country. A nation without justice is a nation that is vulnerable. So we need someone who will bring justice to this nation, who will prosecute people, pass and toxic corruption government officials, and also to establish a war crime court, which our parents were killed, and today we are veterans, and now we are people. People are laughing at us. See, people are laughing at us because they want to mark us. Today we are being called people laugh at us and mock at us. So we want justice to prevail through Joseph Foster. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So just take one or two more calls and go back to our team because because of time, because we had to go for the next program that coming up. So 0770-2031-25 or 0770-2031-25. Please just be brave and go straight to the point. Javi Seva and the councillor or my colleague Steve, hear you clear, and maybe you got questions or something you want to say. If not, then we'll go back to the councillor. So, councillor, yeah. So you just listen to Liberians.
Councillor, just before you answer, I'd like to ask you a question, a follow-up question, as to what most of the callers are saying as well. Are you also insinuating that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, has the power and not the Liberian people to vote who they want to vote in as president? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf can single-handedly determine who becomes the next president of Liberia. Is that what you are insinuating? Because your assertion here today, which we'll go into a little more, because I still got more questions for you to provide the facts and the evidences as to that insinuation.
Well, and this is one of the challenges that the opposition face. Just yesterday, I was discussing with an opposition member, and I said, look, you guys need to come together and find a reason why you should work together. And then the guy said, but all the parties will have different philosophies, different. I said, what kind of philosophies do we have in Liberia that would be so divergent that people cannot come together to work together? I said, but if you can come together to work together, even if you put resources together to make sure that you have pool watchers at every police station, that would be a major advantage, because the government is planning to manipulate the results from the database at NEC. And you people will not have a representative there. That's why we are appealing to the international community to make sure they have somebody there. So from the source is where would be very, very critical. At every polling station, there should be at least 2 or 3 persons there representing the opposition. Because if at one polling station, you have ANC representative there, it's only one person. By the time he leaves to go and take a break, what a call to nature of a food or to drink, a lot of things will happen in his absence that he will not know. And these people are already set. They are poised. That's why they don't want a biometric. That is why they have started this whole thing about national ID card and all of that. Nobody monitored how many persons they gave cards to. Nobody monitored that process and what went on. So they have registered a lot of people that they are intending to use to steal the elections. So even if the opposition will decide to come together just for that purpose, to make sure they have their representative at every pool, it's going to help them So there's a need for them to come together. And I speak this from experience. You remember when the CDC didn't accept one election result, they said they pulled out the elections. A colleague of mine called me at that time and said, Jerome, I know you have nothing to do with the CDC, but these guys are in trouble. They don't know what's going on. I will not call his name. Let's get involved and help these guys. I said, okay. From where we sat in the US, we monitor those elections. And then we called them and said, look, gentlemen, check to this station, this station, this station. Here's what's happening. Here's what's happening. I said we told them the elections results have been determined already while the election is still going on. They say how? We say just verify this, verify this, verify that. And the moment they followed it, they came to the conclusion elections were over and said we were polling out, there was no need. That's when CDC withdrew from the elections. That's how one person can use their position to manipulate and corrupt the results of the elections. That's why we say we want the elections to reflect the true verdict of the Liberian people. Then it will be peaceful. Other than that, already people do not have confidence in it. Based upon all that has happened, the integrity of the head person of the Elections Commission is in shatters. Nobody will believe them in the first place. So that's why we need supervised elections. And we'll be appealing. We have started talking to the international community to start considering this. If they must have elections in October or in the very near future, the whole system is corrupted now. And Mr. Weah is determined to replace himself. He doesn't want to leave. So a lot is going on. Now, there was a question, what is a crime to advertise before
we've got no time.
Yeah, what it is? No, it's not a crime, but it's a violation. To put your poster up before elections campaigning is a violation, but it's not a crime. It's just a violation of the rule, and then the biometric is very, very necessary. It's very, very necessary. Otherwise, we'll be overwhelmed with another round of fraud. The Elections Commission will have complaints. The Supreme Court will have complaints. And Liberia will be in trouble when we have electoral violence. If we know what our history is, it was based upon elections dispute that we went to war in the first place. An international community has told the Elections Commission resolve this, do all of these reforms. We contributed to and told them that there was a need for reform in these areas. They said they didn't reform, but we don't know. They said they passed a new election law, we don't know. Okay, nothing has been publicized in terms of the new changes and all of that. So it looks like we have crisis.
So Steve, we got to go. I want to say thanks to all of you. Thanks to the counselor, and we will join you. That will be on tomorrow by the grace of God.
Thank you so much, Milbo. We'll try to open the lines here really quick so we can take one or two calls.
All right. So
from the diaspora, if you do have a number, it is okay for you to call me, or you can start calling the number. Let me post the number out here, and the counselor will answer your questions. I do have something coming up, so let's do this really, really quick, as fast as we can, to get a counselor to answer your questions, and we'll go from there. If you have questions for the counselor, please feel free. Give me a second. I'm trying to get this number here, Counselor Verdier, to put on here for our viewers to make their call. Okay, that is the number to call. Oh, sorry. That is not the right number. I am very sorry. We're almost there. Counselor Verdier, in the same token, you seem to have called for opposition unity, but then one would oops, I need to highlight it as opposed to get it rolling because many people not see it. One would say, why are you calling for opposition unity when Councillor Verdier, you were here and you witnessed when 3 opposition members took a case to the court that they had no basis on, took it to the same CDC-led government, but automatically everybody should sing Kumbaya and come together and go together in quote-unquote unity. Don't you think that would be the repeating of the same Librarian mentality? Oh, let's just forget it, let's just move on for the sake to remove George Weah?
It depends, my brother, what is at stake. It depends what is at stake. I can sacrifice anything for the good of my children or my wife.
Okay.
There are a lot of things my wife would want me to do that initially I wouldn't be thinking about, I would be opposed to. But she's a moral authority in my life. So I can succumb and give up everything just for her. Nothing is too big for me to do for my wife or my children.
So we're speaking in the context of Liberia.
That's what I'm saying. That's the same thing. That's why I say it depends what is at stake. Okay. Politicians should not put their interest first. It's Liberia that matters.
So when you remove George Weah, what next? Let me ask you the Liberian way. When you remove George Weah now, what next?
He will be replaced by somebody better than he is.
That's what I'm saying. That when he's replaced now, what next? Because it seems as though you were saying it's okay for people to lie on you. It's okay for people to try to prosecute you wrongfully. It's okay for people to gang up on you. But then, quote unquote, for the sake of Liberia, let's just forget it and let's go remove George Weah.
I'm a Christian. Mm-hmm. I submit to the highest standard. It was okay for people to lie on Jesus, right? It was okay for Jesus to be prosecuted for the wrong reasons. It was okay for him to share his blood just for us to live. It was okay for him to die just for us sinners to get a pass. That's the standard he set for us as Christians. Nothing should be too big for the bigger prize. Liberia is bigger than all of us. Okay? People give their soul to the devil because they want to be head of Liberia. But we see the results. They will come down from glory to shame to disgrace and everything. If you are all in this one categorization, opposition. If you cannot agree on who should be first, who should be second, at least you can agree on how to work for the good of Liberia. My thing there is that the results of the elections should reflect the verdict of the Liberian people. Otherwise, we have problem. Otherwise, we have crisis. Serious crisis. And nothing should be too big to spare to avert crisis of that dimension. That's what I'm saying. So even if it were me working together at the polling station, they should do it. They can sign an agreement that we work together, that we support and make sure that polling stations are well taken care of. That each one of us will have 2 persons there. When one person is on the first break, right away they will be replaced, will take over by the second person, and that's expensive. I don't think any one party is in a position to do it, but that's the cost of democracy. It's expensive. We have to pay for it.
True. So then let me ask you this question. Since we're talking Christianity, you're a Christian, I'm a Christian. President George Weah is a man of God. He's a pastor as we speak.
I don't recognize that. I think
I do. He's a man of God. He claims to be
he's a blasphemer. He and Prince Johnson.
Well, I will take a caller here, but let me ask you this question before I take this caller. Since we are so forgiving and Jesus laid the premises, why don't we all forgive George Weah and go work together for the betterment of the good of the country? Let's forgive him. Let's go work together. Let's stop criticizing him. And let's go work together for the better good of the country. We are Christians and we should forgive.
It's a choice.
Oh. So when it comes to George Weah, it's a choice.
When it comes to politics, it's a choice.
Okay, I see.
When it comes to Liberia, there's no choice. Liberia has to be first. Liberia
Okay,
has to
so
be
then let's
number
go
one.
because Labra first. Let's go support Georgia.
Georgia is not Liberia. He's just one of the millions in Liberia. So if anybody who wants to vote him, that's their political choice. Then exercise it. But we are saying that is being practical. We are saying you are seeing the man for 6 years already, and you saw his substance. So why do you put him there again? That is against Liberia's best interest to see the negative path and continue to endure upon that path.
Okay, I see. Well, let me get this first caller. Your caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Good afternoon, Steve. My name is Yarwin. I'm calling from North Carolina.
Hey, Jarwin, go ahead, please. You have a minute.
All right. Good afternoon, Councilor Verdier. Really, I don't have a question. I just want to applaud Councilor Verdier for all the sacrifices he has made and continue to make for Liberia. I want to commend for that. It takes a patriotic citizen to do that, an individual who loves his country, because if you could have chosen to live a better life, to forget about Liberia, but you didn't love your country. So you have sacrificed your own personal wealth for many Liberians. It is sad that Liberia was on par with Japan in the 18 terms of economic growth. We have regressed terribly, but people don't realize that certain interest groups don't want the system to change because they are benefiting for that. We need to change that trajectory. There are a lot of professionals like myself that live in the Liberia. I work in the energy sector. My current professor at UNC, his father was a missionary in Liberia. Grew up. He and I were chatting the last time. The man loved Liberia. It was because of the war that it left Liberia. So Liberia has a rich history that we need to tap into. But because of selfish politicians, they don't want things to change for the better because they don't have the requisite skill.
Corey, you got 30 more seconds, please.
Yeah. When Liberia is based on marriage, when people with marriage who have the right qualification are chosen to lead, most of the current leadership won't come close. So, Councilor Villa, I want to thank you for all your sacrifices. Continue to make us proud. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much.
Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please? Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from Ohio. My name is Joseph.
Joseph, tell me, go for it, please.
Yeah, I'm listening to your program, and I want to ask Councilor Verdier, when he was at the TRC, when he was heading the TRC, there were a lot of accusations against him by his own colleagues. I think if my memory serves me right, 4 of them took away from him and came up with their own version of the finding. Does that mean we should agree to the accusation against him? Does that mean that he's lacking integrity? That's one. 2, let's say today, if Baka wins election, what is he bringing in government?
Thank you.
Are they not the same corrupt Liberians that work in Cllr's government, Ellen's government, and currently working in George's government? If he, Baka, had never been accused in the past of corruption, if Kumi wins today, is he not bringing the same former corrupt official to work with him? If he's not bringing those, where is he taking his cousin to work with him to change dynamics in our Liberian policy?
Thank you. Thank you so much, caller. I think I had another caller. Let me take that last caller, and hopefully it can be the last person for the day, because this caller has called more than once. We have this last caller, and we can. Yes, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
This is James calling from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
I was driving.
Go ahead, please.
I listen to the counselor very well, and I go along with the counselor. For example, the reason you see people tell, how come most of the people they will not become president? Because people were lying to them. They had a line to come in and where his name, Joseph Walker. The people that follow those people, they don't want lying to them. If they make any attempt, they not go together to be Joe we are. They must remember that political ambition is over for Liberia. This is the only way they can stay in power. Whatever they get, they can be in any position. They can say, what? 5% or president, or they can say display it. Because the matter of fact here is, if you look at Joseph Walker age, he cannot go for 2 terms. But if you look at Kwame can go for 2 terms. He can go for another term. There's a chance. You can make Walker president. You may Kwame vice president. Or Kwame Walker can give the presidency to Kwame whatever. But the follower, you're going to be very careful. You people that follow that. You're going to be very careful. Because you're going to they will never succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Verdier, just before we you answer the question, let me just remind this person. Cherina, Adeline, or Yanzar, please refrain from using curse words on people here. This will be your last warning. If you do that again, you are out and you are off for good. We don't do those things here. Please, let's be respectful. Let's disagree respectfully. It's okay for us to disagree. Please, we're begging you. Thank you. Councilor Verdier, I know there were 2 callers, and we'll call it for the day, but I wanted to push back just a little bit, or to it's interesting when you say forgiveness is a choice, and I would have to agree with you that it's a choice. But on the other hand, you are asking other people who were hurt, who were lied on deliberately, the character was ruined. The political life or future could have been ruined had they succeeded in their deceptive, knowing, conniving, deceptive act. You are asking them.
Be specific.
You are
talking about what happened in the
Nyombli Kanga Lawrence.
Okay.
We're talking about 3 of them. The dubious lawsuit that they pulled against the ANC, they pulled against 3 members of the CPP. On top of it, they left the CPP. They went to Supreme Court, the highest court in our land, to leave the CPP. But you are asking that they should forget about all of that and come together only to remove George Weah. My question to you is this. Do you think George Weah has a problem for Liberia?
Firstly, you want me to comment on a partisan situation, and which
everything,
which normally I would stay away from, even in matter concerning the case that went to court within the CPP. I wasn't concerned with the nitty-gritty.
Right.
Understand whether the accusations were genuine or not. But all I'm saying is that you go in elections because you have a target, a goal, or an objective. So if UP, ANC, LPP, and which other party is there? The former vice president's son had just got in the race, Lionel. If all of them are going to elections for a different purpose, then it's okay. Then just forget about what I'm saying. Then it doesn't matter. But if all of them are going to the elections for the same purpose, do we see the need why they should work together to make that purpose successful? Because they have one thing in common. Joshua is a beneficiary of the spoil system. He's a beneficiary of corruption. He's a beneficiary of murder. He's a beneficiary of patronage, which has undermined our democracy. He's a beneficiary of the predatory nature of our politics. And so he's carrying on. Okay, so he's not a problem. The problem has been there and he has exploited. If you look at him, he's picking characteristics from different presidents. He's not himself. He behaves like a toddler, a very big toddler. So he's just picking from different presidents. He looked at Jihad Dose, he went to bed, he had a dream, and Totman told him, say, you will be president longer than I am. When I heard that, I said, oh, we discussed those things sometime back. Those say he had a dream, and Totman said he will replace him, so he wants to be there for longer than 27 years. He has sent a message. It's the same thing with this young man. This young man intends to be there at all costs. This young man saw things in President Doe that he's imitating. He saw things in President Cllr that he's imitating and trying to copy. He saw some things in President Sedi, even though I don't see the Sedi part of him yet, because President Sedi was measured, she was cool, she was calm. I didn't see that part in him yet. But the corruption part, okay. He's copying on the corruption part.
Okay. Hello? I think Cllr Verdier's...
This whole thing about legitimizing corruption, he borrowed it from Erin. All these 30,000 that these senators and representatives are taking is using a legitimate instrument, the budget, to justify their stealing and corruption. President,
since you spoke of that, let me interrupt you. I normally don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe Joseph Yuma Boakai also facilitated this 30,000 process because he was over the Senate?
Mm-hmm.
He's the president of the Senate, the legislature. Your colleague, Councillor Tamon Gongo, openly stated that the Ellen-led government legitimized, legalized Brian envelope in the Senate. Do you think Joseph Yuma Boakai partake into this affair?
Was he a part of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's government? I agree with that statement from Councillor Gonglo.
Yes, you were part of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's government. Do you think
why you asked that question? But maybe
no, but I want to hear from you, the councillor.
Okay, so I will tell you.
Let's call it out.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So if I am to delve into that and focus on the role of Honorable Boakai himself, okay, it takes you back to the history of Liberian politics. You remember I spoke of the kind of politics that we have.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the plot of the presidency and the predatory nature of governance, where government has to eat everything and leave the people, you know, and as a vice president, go back to history. Every vice president that tried to talk was accused of trying to overthrow the president. Every vice president, going back to Totman. The moment the vice president tries to talk, you remember Benny Norman, Talbot. He said he will keep his space as vice president. How much can a vice president do? Those are some of the progressive changes we want in our governance process. The vice president should have a more progressive role to play. In Kenya, when they were changing their constitution, they made a vice president a deputy president. They didn't call it vice president. They dropped the vice and made it deputy. So you share the responsibility with the president. You're not sitting down and waiting for the president to be incapacitated before you act. On our system, that's what it is. The vice president is just the vice president. The vice president only becomes active when the president is inactive. Otherwise, he performs ceremonial functions that he's presiding over the Senate. If I were vice president on those conditions, I could have presided in a different way than what Vice President Boakai did. I would be vocal. I will resist by laws that comes before.
And you could resign. Those are options to.
That's another option. If you are not satisfied with it, you resign.
Yes.
But when you resign, what happens? Do you come and leave it ask that at me?
That's fine. You can do that.
Okay.
Because you want to save your life.
You have individual choices.
But if you stay there, say nothing, do nothing, do the same act, or enable it, whether knowingly or unknowingly, by your silence or whatever it is,
well, we
you are covered as well.
We add into it. You know, whether he enabled and all, he was performing his function. That's his constitutional responsibility he was performing.
But that's enabling.
And the people, to do your job, to do your constitutional job, that's enabling.
Yes.
And, you know, and one of the arguments that will come up is that I don't make the decisions.
Do you think
The people vote in the Senate and they make their decisions.
So do you think Joy Howard Taylor is performing her constitutional duty right now?
I haven't been examined. Unfortunately, this government is just a mess to me. I don't pay attention. I haven't
So
been
when
paying attention.
it comes to certain people, you don't pay attention. But when it comes to certain people, you pay attention. Oh, okay, I see.
No, I don't see what Joy Howard is doing. Fast
She's doing a function.
Fast I know, I don't see her in the public sphere. As vice president, if she's presiding over the Senate, I've not even seen her preside over the Senate before. I've not seen her. Okay. So that is trying to handle us specifically, not just Governor General. For most of the sessions that I watch for the Senate, I don't see her. I see different persons. Even now, Sir Joseph, it is the president pretending to somebody else. So you're being specific as to her, you know. But the system is so bad that up to now, it's so difficult to help. It is so corrupted. It is so polluted. It is so bad, you know, that how can you help the system other than just changing it? You know, the current vice president, I don't know. What does she do? The only thing we know is to preside over and to wait for the president to be incapacitated so that you can step in. That's how bad our governance is. You know, it's not a making of Mr. Weah or Madam Howard Taylor. But the unfortunate thing is that before we ascend, we do nothing about what we see as ills. And that's why you see civil society is always there being active with the hope of being relevant to pass through their position or their points. But civil society is very, very necessary. You know, so the vice president, you know, I took you all the way back to Tottenham before I came to Talbot and then where we are. So I'm not targeting Joy Howard Taylor. Neither was I targeting the immediate past vice president. It's a system of dysfunction, a system of what? Corruption, a system of bad governance. This is what we fight. You know, look at resource allocation. More than 80% of the budget goes to, interestingly, it goes to what? Recurring expenditures, buying gas, buying cars, and all of that. How much of the budget comes back to the Liberian people?
Right.
How much? That's why I say the state is predatory. The state is everything from the people. You know, the state takes everything. If you are in government, you are big man, you are big shot. That's what they want to do. And so they have no respect for the ordinary citizens who employ them, who empower them to be there. Look how that boy was treated. Could he have treated his own son that way if it was his son who was protesting at the Capitol? Could they have done that? That's the first thing they should think about. Tomorrow they will not be in power. They will depend of their community and other people to go along. But when you are in power, you abuse the rights of the people. You care less. If you are a security man, then you think that you are God. A security man should not respect anybody. You know, and we come here, and in America, where we're supposed to learn from it, you said read a man's rights before you arrest him. If you don't have cause for arresting a man, don't arrest him. You can even invite him to come and dialogue with you, and you can discuss, you can ask him questions until you develop a cause for the arrest. But in Liberia, security in Liberia is about arresting people, and harmless people too, and weak people, hungry people, ignorant people. Then we say we're exercising our power. That is wrong. That's not how it should be. The purpose of your power is for the good of the people. If the people cannot benefit from the authority that you have, then your authority is useless. Then you are holding office illegitimately. Yeah, very unfortunate. That's the kind of situation we have. And you know, I've been thinking one thing that is missing in our electoral process is debate.
Right.
I think we should make it a must that we have debate. I think there should be a law that will establish a debate commission.
I would have to agree with you on that.
Yes.
Definitely. So it's imperative.
It's imperative. Very. It's important.
Yes.
Now people see, there are people here, and let them be able to ask these candidates questions.
Exactly. And Councillor, to add up to that, you're making a very good point, because most of the elections that are won in the United States, 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of the elections are won in the United States. 90% of they want, for the most part, voters are convinced maybe 80 to 90% doing these different debates.
Yes.
Because people get to be questioned about their policies,
Mm-hmm.
their records,
Especially
get to know, you know, and then also how they would tackle issues that they should they win, what they would do to alleviate some, and they're kept on record. They
are kept on record. You said this at so time.
Exactly.
We hold you to this. It's very, very important.
I think this is, you know, I didn't think about it that way, that debate should be mandatory, but I think it should be mandatory going forward.
It should be.
Yeah, so that no one's hiding anything. Everything is in the open. And it would even be better if those who will be, you know, hosting the debate have their, you know, maybe their plans or whatever it is at hand, so that they quiz them on those things, and they can't deviate from it. We'll stay in that perimeter.
Yeah. And since you agree with me, let's make it a project. If these elections are postponed and we have time.
Yeah, but let's talk. Then we can.
Let's campaign for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we can.
We petition the legislature. Let them establish a debating commission that will hold mandatory debate for all elections.
Yes, and they can
also local or national.
I think it should. I would suggest maybe it be both. And the reason for that, you know, at the vice president level as well. And we can also have panelists from the United States to be part of the panel, or those that will.
Yeah, independent, neutral, sound people from anywhere. Yeah.
Okay, that would be.
I'm taking note of those suggestions you came up with. We're making a project.
Yeah, we'll talk after the show so that we can definitely make it a project, because this is how we move the country forward, and we propel the country for the future, to ensure that these things are in place. Other people do it. Why can't we do it?
Why can't we do it? And we are as old as almost the first democracy. After America, there are not many countries that come very close to us. I don't think France is as old as we are. I don't know.
Councilor, let me ask you the last question, and then hopefully we can call it a day and reschedule for maybe another conversation on the whole Prince Johnson, Zoguia, or bringing all the rebels, you know, whether the government connecting them to come and counter each other in the public, you know, to look. But let me ask you this question, this direct question, Councilor Verdier. Are there any other plans for sanction that are due before the elections? And I'm asking because we have to be clear about some of the things that are going on, the violations, especially most recently in Magibi, you know, the monies that were taken from there for the projects and so forth. Are there any planned sanctions, targeted sanctions?
Well, you heard from the American ambassador, and our advocacy for sanction did not restrict it to 3 or 4 persons. We prepared a long list of people who should be sanctioned based upon our investigations. And we hope and we believe there will be more sanctions, but it is up to the American government, not me. We can only appeal. I'm not a national of America to be listened to. I'm a Liberian citizen who is displaced, a refugee in America. And so I can only go to them and appeal, and that's what we've been doing. Say, please, you don't want us to get into crisis again, and then you start mobilizing millions to come and help, because that's the narrative about Africa that the West has gotten accustomed to. You know, when the damages come, then you come with aid, when you can do much to prevent all of these things from happening. And so it's so good that they were able to listen. They listened to us. And so it's a process that is on. I'm convinced there will be more sanctions. Whether before elections, I would think so, but I don't know. I'm not involved with the timing. I only ask, and I can say it should be happening at this time or that time, you know, but we are convinced there will be more sanctions, because it's not just 3 persons who are here. And there are activities that are going on that we have investigated, and more people deserve to be sanctioned. You know, and yes, a lot of people deserve to be sanctioned. Yeah.
So, Councilor, the next time we reconvene, I would definitely would definitely have to speak on those people. The reason why you and others have pushed for more sanction and so forth. But hopefully we can get your partner comment today that Super Bowl weekend. I want to go myself here. I won't go watch the Super Bowl because I want to whip the Eagles. Unfortunately,
Please go.
yeah.
I'm not a fan of American football. Some time ago, I used to be in New England, Boston, and so the Patriots were the ones that it was a very good team. So they have been a very good team. So, Tom Brady and all of that. Those are the ones that I've watched. My wife is a Buckeye fan. You know, she loves the Buckeye. You know, the Buckeyes. So, but I'm not a fan of football.
Yeah, but soccer. What is your team? I heard say you Barcelona fan.
No,
Come on,
I'm a Manchester fan.
Manchester United.
Yes, since the 70s. But you won't believe, since Alex Ferguson retired, I've not watched European football.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but then, so can we just, for the sake of the country and other things, can we just agree that you start supporting Barcelona going forward, just for the sake of the country?
No, if I support Barcelona, where is Messi? If Messi is there, then I will support. But
No, the man went to PSG.
you want a PSG? Yeah, unfortunately. So if I'm to support a European team, it will be PSG where Messi is. But I haven't watched the soccer. Like I said, since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, I have not watched one European football.
So elaborate, you're man.
Aye.
But you see, yeah, Joey, I guess you're on the same team.
Hey, you see, that guy, that's what the disappointment is. I supported him, man. And let me tell you, I heard about the guy so much that I went to watch the Benua team, the team from Benin. I have forgotten the name. And he scored 3 goals. I watched that match. And you won't believe, I stood up when that guy scored I think the second or the third goal of his head. And I took up my hat and I blessed him. I said, this guy will be great. It was not long his greatness started. It was not long he had to go to tournée in Cameroon and all of that kind of thing. I don't know if you can remember. I will check, I will research and see when the team from Benin played IE and were defeated at home. I watched that game. I had to go and see that game.
Is that about? I think that's around maybe. No, that would not be 1986. It probably around 1986.
It's around that time.
Yeah, it's around 1986. Mm-hmm. I would because he went to France 1988. So yes, it was more likely so.
It was around there. Yes.
Yeah, after that he went to tournée. Yes.
Yes, he went to tournée. It was just before that time. I stood up and saluted the young man. I said, "Damn, this guy will be great." But maybe God just opened my eyes to see it, but now, he's too fishy. He's too fishy. He's not even scoring goal.
See, they're coming after you again, right after this.
Oh, that their business. But I was in the organization, I was there. I saw the corruption. I saw the things coming, and it was so good. I just packed my hands, packed my books. I told them, Jerome, thank you, I'm gone.
Somebody just corroborated that between 86 and 87.
86 and 87. I watched that game. I went to see that game. Oh, I was thrilled. I'm not normally like that about football and all of that kind of thing. Where you go in the field, I don't have that emotion, that passion. But I stood up and I took up my cap. I said, this guy would be great. And as it happened, my heart and what God had thrown me to, he became a great football player. But now he's being used. Unfortunately, all that fame, all that glory is coming to naught. It's coming to nothing.
Thank you, Counselor. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely, speak behind closed doors here so that we can, have you back on here for your legal mind and everything else that you do. We want to say thank you so much. Thanks for all you do, Counselor. Thanks to you, the sacrifices you've made and you continue to make on behalf of our country and our people. We say thank you. Thanks to our listeners and our viewers for following as well. Any last word before we close the show?
Liberia, let God bless Liberia. Let us not give up on Liberia. Let us keep praying for Liberia. God loves this country. There were 3 different times in our history when the sovereignty of Liberia was under threat. But God preserved Liberia for a purpose, and we have not seen that purpose yet. We know of it. We know that it should be a land of freedom for people. But we haven't seen it materialize yet because we have had bad leaders, unfortunately. So if we keep crying to God, God will give us the right leaders at the right time. Let us pray. Let God direct us so that we make our decisions, whether it is we or some member of the opposition. God knows best, and let's look to God for that. And I thank the Liberian people for being resilient, for their prayers for their country. I thank all those who call and your followers. Liberian people support what I do, and I appreciate it. I'm humbled by that, but it's just for the good of Liberia. I hope everybody in their own little corner can do what they can do. I'm doing what I can do within my means. I tell people that I owe it to Liberia because Liberia educated me. I went to government school throughout my life. It was during my primary time, my Oma said, hey, you're playing too much. She sent me to one private school, and at the same time, I was in a government school. So I would go to government school in the morning, then in the afternoon. No, I would go to the private school in the morning, then I go to government school in the afternoon. So I went to private school at that stage. But besides that, my meaningful educational achievement was through government school. It's hurting to see Tottenham High the way it is. It's hurting to see the university the way it is. They can't even pin, they cannot maintain. We pray for leaders who will consider the issues of the ordinary people first. I'm a product, of government service, of government support to the education and health sector. I've not come abroad for hospital. Every time when I was there, I went to hospital there. I remember the first time I was hospitalized. When my dog bit me, and then after the dog bit me and died the following day. And so my mom was concerned. She thought I had rabies. I went to hospital in Liberia, and I spent days in the hospital. It was those days, and I was on one chat room just to make it short. People were talking about electricity, and I told them, I said, no, you can remember why electricity was like in Liberia. And I educated them that in the past, in my house we had 2 lines, one for 220 and one for 110. Nobody could remember. I said we used to pay our bills, and when we are late, they will come and cut the light. And you pay, and they will reconnect you. And then they had neighborhood people, employees of REC who will come and do the reconnection even when they cut you. I said, I still remember the guy who used to do it in the neighborhood. My father said, no, we'll not do it. We pay our bills on time, and REC will send their people to come and reconnect us when they were disconnected. So we want to say the people were wiser than us. They managed the little that we had at the time. That's why we look at it. We appeal to international community, and we thank them for suspending this whole oil exploration thing. Otherwise, it would have Liberia in serious chaos by now.
Thank you.
But we thank God for Liberia. Let's keep praying to God for Liberia that elections will be successful and that Liberians will vote wisely. For me, in my wisdom, I've dismissed George Weah. He's out of calculation. He has no place. He has no business. He's just bad and being used by other people. No, we don't want a figurehead president. We want somebody who has a plan, has a direction, and knows what's good for the country and have a compassion for his people.
Thank you, Council.
So thank you very much, my brother Steve, and thanks to all of your followers and viewers. God bless Liberia.
Thank you. I will be in touch for sure. Thank you.
Yes, sir.